All right, good morning. Bobby Lee here from Hurricane Creek Farms. Here early this morning getting stocker calves fed, but today we're gonna get some grass planted. I have my number one helper with me. You say hello? Hello. He's got his water bottle ready. He knows we got a lot of stuff to do. Important to stay hydrated. But appreciate everybody watching. Appreciate you even more if you have subscribed. We really do appreciate that. It helps us out. And also, very quickly, just giving it a thumbs up, easy to do, helps the videos with the visibility. But we're done here. Actually, we got to put out a bag of mineral, but gave them a little feed. Looks like everybody's content and happy. Go get that mineral, put in the feeder, and then we're headed back to the house to get ready to plant some grass. Okay, so we made it back from town, got our errands run. Now we're getting ready to get this grass planted. So just first off, we are planting the Southeast Agri-Seed, what they call their balancer mix, but it's basically, it's a novel endophyte fescue, 2 different varieties of orchardgrass, and then a white and red clover. So we'll talk a little more about the novel endophyte on the fescue and what that is and why that's important. But a cool season perennial mix. We're planting this. We won't be planting it again anymore unless we just need to renovate at some point or don't get a good stand or, heaven forbid, anything like that. But go over the planter or the cedar, Great Plains, NTS 2509. It's 9 feet wide. I have used this before. I've shown it, kind of how it works in some previous videos, but assuming some of you may not have seen that. It's a pretty simple setup, neat little setup. I guess its simplicity is one of the things I do like about it. You do have these roller spikes on the front. We're probably going to adjust them a little. You can adjust the angle at which they run, make it a little more aggressive at doing a little tillage. We probably will do that because that ground was lightly disced. See if that'll help smooth it up just a little more. Then you got a cultipacker wheel here on the back, and that's how how it's actually driven, and seed just drops out right here, kind of in between that roller spike from up here, but right in front of the cultipacker wheel. That way it does cultipack over the top of it. Gives you a little better seed to soil contact, but it does leave a lot of the seed planted either really shallow or just on top of the ground. And that's, I guess, if I was critiquing it, what I probably don't like as much about it is, opposed to using an actual planter or drill, and kind of why we had used that drill back in the spring on the Sudex that was planted out here. We had a poor stand of the Sudex using this previously and hadn't gotten great stands of our winter annuals, and just repeatedly doing that's one reason we're going to perennial mix. Other reason why we used the disc beforehand, just make a little better seed bed for this seed. But it's enough talk about all that. We're gonna get the planter loaded. It's kind of a guessing game with a mix of exactly the setting we need to put down the right rate, trying to plant right at 25 pounds an acre. And so we'll just have to do some adjustments. We'll put a little in there at first for this first little 4-acre patch, make sure it's running out just about right. But we're gonna get started. So as far as our rate, again, like most planters or seeders, we got a nice chart here. Kind of looking at the Kentucky 31, which again, this is a novel endophyte. It's not Kentucky 31 variety, but seed size should be very similar. Where we adjust right here, I believe it says 20, will put us at 26 pounds an acre. Of course, we want to be right at 25, so it's gonna be close. But of course, it's not. Over half of that seed, just by volume, is fescue. You can go and close it, but we're gonna kind of have to tinker with it, make sure it's running out just right. Oh, did you shut your foot in the lid? You gotta watch it. Back up. Now I got it. He wants to help so bad. All right, let's flip that the other way. But, so we got it set on like 17 and a half, I guess right between 15 and 20. So we'll see. Might have to open it up just a little more. Might have to close it down a little more, but that should be in the neighborhood of where we want to be. So well, we'll see how it comes out and kind of go from there. But I think we got pretty much everything set and ready to go. We're gonna start running. It's already 9 o'clock, 9:15, so we'll get done today barring a breakdown. Fingers crossed. We got lucky with the disc, never had any issues, but my brother did actually have a little trouble yesterday. Thankfully, it was just a fuel filter on the tractor. But we are running his tractor just because the other one has been hooked up to the disc. So we had already had this one hooked up. One thing just kind of hit me last night, because I knew the wild man would be with me today. This one does not have a buddy seat, so that'll be slightly inconvenient. He'll just have to sit in my lap, but that's okay. We're gonna get rolling. Okay, so made just about half a pass here. You can see it's pretty easy to tell we've been running, which is nice. We had dissed this kind of at this angle, and then now we're hitting it this way. But looking out here, a little bit of moisture, but it is pretty darn dry. See some of the seed there and there, and you have to look real hard to find the clover. But it's definitely putting seed out. There's a clover seed that disappeared there on us. But yeah, there's some clover there. But yeah, drops the seed out right there in front of this cultipacker wheel. I don't know if you can see it, but a little easier to see there. But I don't know, we'll see. Again, we're only on about 150 feet or so, but it's putting it out. We'll just have to keep watching that seed box, be sure we don't run out. That should be just about the exact amount of seed we need to do this first smallest field, and we'll go from there. But it's just dry, really bad dry. It's rained. I think we got probably close to 1.5 inches in the last 10 days or so. Still, you can see just how dry it is, which of course I was hitting it with the disc. It dried it out a little more, but there's a little moisture underneath there. So probably gonna take a rain to get all this up. And I don't know when that'll be. Lots of dry weather in the forecast, which most of the farmers are right in the middle of corn harvest or getting corn harvest wrapped up and get ready to get the soybeans. So they wouldn't mind seeing a little dry weather, but just to be a little bit greedy, I wouldn't mind if we caught a 1/2 inch or so of rain here in the next week or so. But we're gonna get back on here and keep at it. So we made the mention of the novel endophyte variety of fescue earlier, and what does that mean? And so fescue is often talked about as being endophyte free or endophyte infected, and it's just a fungus, the endophyte is, that is very common in a fescue plant. And the endophyte is nice as far as the plant's concerned because it increases its survivability, just a lot of positive benefits on the actual growth of the plant itself. But like most things in life, there's a flip side of that, and that is endophyte infected, just the traditional endophyte, like with the Kentucky 31, can have some very negative effects on animal performance. Of course, we're planting this for animals to eat, for grazing. So the novel endophytes are designed to still give you all the positive benefits, the growth characteristics of the plant, without the negative impacts on the animals. And those negative effects, I guess, of the traditional endophyte, everything you think of with fescue toxicosis, the heat intolerance, just, animals looking unthrifty, dull coats, that kind of thing, just not gaining as well with it. So, yeah, the whole goal of the novel endophyte is you get the best of both worlds, the positive growth characteristics for the plant without the negative impacts on the animal. There are also endophyte-free varieties of fescue, but of course you don't get the positive benefits as far as the plant's concerned there. So planting that one particular variety of fescue, again, it's two different varieties of orchardgrass, and then the red and white clovers. The clovers, obviously, because they help put nitrogen in the ground that the grasses can use. The orchard grass just gives a little more diversity from a grass standpoint. Not sure how well the orchard grasses will last and survive long term. You see this big wide open bottom ground. As kind of their name implies, a lot of times they do real well in shadier areas, so maybe around the edges and whatnot, but we'll see. We'll certainly follow this and keep kind of highlighting how it's doing in subsequent videos over these next few months. So we ran into a little trouble. Just could tell we weren't putting down seed at near the rate we should have been. It was putting out seed, but just not, we were probably putting out half the rate we should have been, maybe not even that. And what it is, we did not clean out all these little individual seed cups. Thought we'd run it completely empty. Oh, I guess last fall would have been the last time this thing was used before yesterday. And my brother, which it was the first time he'd ever run this thing, but he didn't tell me that yesterday, he had some trouble. You couldn't easily make the adjustments, which now you can. And I noticed too, as I was trying to open it up, man, it just wouldn't open. So I think we just had some old seed that had gotten down in those seed cups, gotten really compacted. And so now we've got just about all of them cleaned out. I think I have, yeah, we're catching the seed. 2 or 3 more to go over here on the end. And then maybe we'll be back up and running, but we're, it's almost 1 o'clock now. Yeah, we should have been like half done, and we're not even a quarter of the way. So not gonna get finished today, it would appear. All right, so that's a great example of why you don't ever wear anything even remotely nice, or that you don't want to get dirty, because I'd kind of had the thought in my mind, it's like, the planter's already greased, it's ready to go. All I gotta do is put seed in it and sit in air conditioning, listen to some radio and go on, and then run into this little issue. But I don't know, we'll put that back in the sack, see if we can tell how much, but that's probably right at 25 pounds. And we planted that whole bottom, and it should have, you know, so we probably put out about 75 pounds, should have been about 100. So we'll go back over it. I might even just broadcast that on that bottom. But now, of course, the question is still, I always use that little block of ground as my calibration area, because it's, you know, right at 4 acres. And so we'll go across the creek now, where it's the next smallest patch, and see if, again, we can adjust. Feel like just based on the planter chart, we know about where we should be, but yeah, it was putting out a fraction of that, but it wasn't. It was because we couldn't make those adjustments. So anyway, hopefully that problem's solved. Like I said, it's 1 o'clock. I need to eat. I need to get wild man fed more than anything. And we'll get back after it. Let me show you. Grab the string right there. Pull it. Pull that string. There you go. Pull it. Pull it. Keep pulling it. Keep pulling it. Alright.
I did it.
That's right. Now pull the sack apart. There you go.
Yay!
It's like opening a bag of potato chips. Dump it in there. Shake it, give it a shake. Make sure it's all out of there. Alright. I'm gonna sit you down. Put you fall. Continuing to have issues with the planter. We're rolling along, thought it was planting about right. But tried to open it up some more, you know, just making an adjustment here. And once it's full of seed, you cannot, like, and I've never had this issue before planting like triticale, oats, some of the winter annuals like that, even planting like Sudex. So those bigger seeds, I don't know if that's all the difference. Once we emptied the planter out in there, oh, you could slide it back and forth like it was brand new. There was nothing wrong. Now that the, Will's here to help out. Now that we've gotten the planter, you know, back filled up, you can't make an adjustment on it. And that is, to say I'm frustrated is beyond, because seed box is, you know, there's about, 150 pounds or so of seed in there. If I can get the lid open. Yeah, and so definitely do not want to empty all that out through the cups like we had done earlier. Okay, so new day, getting started again. It's actually about noon now. Getting a later start today. We had run to a horse show, Kimber's showing this weekend. Had thought we were gonna get done with this yesterday, and would have had all day to do that, but didn't get done, but still made a point to get down there this morning to watch her ride. They'll be home shortly. But yeah, gonna try to finish up. We're gonna have some seed left over. We already know. It's just we had terrible trouble adjusting this thing once seed is in the box. Didn't realize that until we were kind of already going. Pretty much had already decided yesterday, whatever seed we have left over, we're just gonna put on the herd seeder, little broadcaster that goes on the back of the side-by-side. Hadn't totally decided if we're gonna try to go ahead and hit the spots that we know planted a little lighter, or wait maybe even until spring where we can see where we have a thinner stand and hit some spots. Probably gonna go ahead and just spread that. May go ahead and order some more seed to use and hit those other spots in spring. But had even thought, why don't we just broadcast it and then forget the planter altogether? And one problem with that is, you can see where we hit it with the disc, it's still a little rough because we never hit it with the do-all or anything to smooth it out. Then over here, where we've run the planter, because of course, got that roller spike out front, kind of really busting up the clods. You know, that culture packer on the back, it's really smoothing things out very nicely. You can very distinctly tell where we have run and where we haven't. So need that to run over all the ground and nothing else, just for the little bit of tillage it's providing and you know, smoothing things up. And it does do a good job of planting. It's just, you know, and I think a little better than just broadcasting it, but you just can't make an adjustment. This thing, our seed's already mixed. We wanted to use that biggest seed box. I don't know, if you talk to somebody with Great Plains, they may tell you, well, using a seed that small, we should be using one of these other seed boxes. I don't know. I mean, this seed is primarily fescue and orchardgrass, which are pretty similar in size. And there is a setting for fescue using that seed box, but I don't know. It may be just a design flaw in this thing. Maybe user error. It's like this thing. But we're gonna keep rolling. So it's already noon. We got about half of it done yesterday. So things go like yesterday, we won't get done today either, not before dark, but heaven forbid we have as much trouble as we did then. We'll get these last 9 acres or so knocked out and be done with this, but we'll get it done. We're rolling along pretty well now. Everything looks like putting out about the right rate, best we can tell. Finally, it took us, we got about halfway over everything before we got everything calibrated in. But yeah, we're gonna make up for that by going back broadcasting a little, like first half of this bottom, try to make it come out about right. Then we get done with this, we're gonna be getting some fertilizer put down. Probably, I really don't know when, because in the near future, we would say that there's not really any rain in the forecast right now. So no point in rushing to get it put down right away. I think there may be a little chance by next weekend. So I don't know. We'll play that by ear. I'm sure we'll have that on video, so just keep watching for that. But getting this planted, we'll be following it along too, you know, in subsequent videos. And also, if you're on Instagram, you can follow us there. We do post fairly regularly, or at least share stuff to our story, where we'll give more frequent updates on how this is coming along. I believe we are Hurricane Creek Farm, with no S on the end, just all one word, on Instagram. But anyway, we appreciate everybody watching. Again, if you haven't given it a thumbs up, we appreciate that. I ask you to keep tuning in. Until next time, y'all eat beef and God bless. Just a bit dry and dusty out there. Woo, yeah. Just a bit dusty there. Yeah, we need a rain.